All right, everybody, so I have my tumbler prepped and ready for glitter. It's a 15-ounce skinny tumbler. It was previously sanded or stripped down because it was a failed project. It's okay to have failed projects, but make sure we reuse what we have. The tumbler itself is not damaged in any way, but instead of sanding it all the way down to the metal or smooth, I just got all the epoxy off of it, got all the glitter off of it. And then we're just going to cover all of these paint defects up with glitter. This is a tumbler for my daughter. She's going to get a new princess tumbler specifically made for her. It's going to have two-tone stripes all the way down and then a glitter ombre to about right there. And then it's going to have a custom SVG file on it. Decal. Color, I do not know yet. As far as the colors, I know for sure that I want to use a pearl. Very shiny white. Beautiful. And as far as the ombre, I want to do Cloud 9. And I want to do Cloud 9 because it does have a little bit of a blue tint to it. It's a little bit of shimmer. It really goes well with pearl. And then what I'm debating about is whether I want to do Glass Slipper, which is a light blue. Bring those forward there and turn around so you can see the colors. Or Cabana Blue, which is a much more vibrant blue. I do think that because this was originally one of the Northern Lights collection from Glitter Chimp, that when you apply epoxy to it, it does have a different tone to it. I think that I'm going to try it anyways. I feel like if I use Glass Slipper, it really washes these out. And I want it to have that pop. I like pop. I'm not saying that this isn't a great color combination, and I will probably use this again, but I love this pop. So I think that I'm going to go with Cabana Blue. So Cabana Blue will be the stripe, and then there will be your ombre. Here's a close-up of the scratches on the bottom of the tumbler and little chips along the paint. I'm using double-sided sticky tape method to apply my horizontal stripes to the tumbler. It's a real quick and easy way just to get perfectly straight lines every single time. I'm going to use a weeding tool to remove the double-sided sticky tape film, exposing the adhesive side. I'm going every other for this tumbler, and the very top lip will be blue, so that if I were to use white, the blue spray paint base would maybe show through on that top lip, and I don't want that. So the very top will be blue. You'll go every other, and then that way the bottom of the tumbler will be blue. So I like to apply a thin layer of Mod Podge even over the adhesive of the double-sided sticky tape. It just gives an extra layer of adhesion to that first layer before I go into the second. So we're going to enter into a time lapse here of me working my way down the tumbler. Time lapse doesn't show the actual time, so by the time I get to the bottom of the tumbler, I'm able to brush off the top and apply my second coat right away. That second coat really adds that layer of depth that I want with the glitter. Here's that second coat. You can really tell the difference in depth when I apply that. So for this process, I'm going to go ahead and remove the second stripe layer. This way the previous layer won't get stuck to that tape, and when I pull it up, it won't pull any of the glitter. It keeps crisper lines. So using Mod Podge, I'm going to use the same method as before for the second layer. This is a slower process than the first. Just because I'm only painting in between. But even during this process, you'll see when I apply the first layer, you'll see where the blue shows through. That second layer really applies that depth just like it did with the blue, so that the blue doesn't really show through. There's where it's showing through. And I'm going to speed up. I kind of jump around here just because that's what I did. Brushing it off and then applying that second layer. And it fills in all those gaps. And then once this is dry, I give it a good brush off, and it's time for a flood coat of epoxy. I believe this was 20 milliliters. You can see I go ahead and apply the epoxy. I go with the grain of the stripes so that if there is any loose glitter, it's not shifting so much. These colors really match well together, so it's not like you're using like red and white where it will be really noticeable when those colors merge together, if they did. Once the glitter is saturated, at that point you can kind of apply the epoxy however you see fit. And your whole goal here is just to get it filled in. Next is to apply my ombre. This is Cloud 9 chunky glitter. This is a pretty fun process. Just gently shake it and let the glitter lay where it lays. I do have to apply more vigorous to the bottom just to get it to fly correctly and apply to that bottom. And as I come back around to the top of the ombre there, I'll apply it more and more gently to give it a fade effect. And here's the finished effect after the ombre is complete. Those colors pop so well together. The blue, the pearl, and the Cloud 9 just gives it that extra level of shimmer. My daughter is going to love this tumbler. So after another flood coat to get over the vinyl, I'm going to apply my custom designed slipper and the monogram. Originally, I made the monogram in black. It was way too bold. I pulled it off, and this time I made it in white. Here you can see me applying that to the tumbler. The white doesn't wash it out or isn't taking away from the glitter as much as the black did. And then here's my custom designed slipper, a little bit of holographic blue, just to give it some pop. I originally made this in black as well. Again, too bold. I also made it smaller this time. So then I go ahead and apply that to the tumbler, just so. And the last thing that we have to do is add another layer of epoxy, sand it, epoxy, and then we are good to go. So here's another 20 milliliters. I don't believe I used all of this epoxy, so you probably get away with less. This is only a 15 ounce tumbler after all. I really try to get as much epoxy around the lip and the rim as possible. And then I apply a light sanding to it. I usually do this mainly on cups with the glitter. Chunky glitter tends to cause the epoxy to bump up around the bottom and the lip. And those can cause micro scratches in the epoxy overuse. So giving a light sanding helps to alleviate that. last coat of epoxy, and I think the last thing is some glamour shots. I appreciate everybody watching this very first video from Byerly Studios YouTube. Please visit us on our Etsy shop at Byerly Studios.